kind of a weird looking guy. Look at me. You know what I look like right now? I look like that. You ever imagine like a crazy guy like hiding in a bush? Like you're just walking along. Maybe not walking. Maybe driving a car. Maybe that's less weird. And you're like stopped at a stop sign or whatever. And you look over and there's just like this crazy, crazy looking guy. He ain't doing nothing. He's just in a bush. He's got that weird look in his eye. You're like, what is he doing? What possibly could he be doing? I mean, where this is like there's cars driving by, and he's just in the bush with a weird, the weird smile. He's enjoying himself. He's doing something, but he's not really moving. He's just he's not even hiding. He's just standing in a bush. Anyways, my name is Wallace, and I'm a friggin' flippin' vampire dude. Do I look crazy? Maybe a little bit. Am I a southern guy? Heck yes, I am. I was born with this crazy. I was born with this crazy look in my eye. I came out of my mama with this crazy look. I look like this coming out of my mama. I just look like I was ready for anything. Like at any moment, anything can happen. That's the can do attitude here in the South. You don't know what's gonna happen. It could be anything at any time. You always got that look. It could go real good or real bad, real fast. But you're always ready. You always got that crazy look. Something crazy could happen. You never know, but you're prepared for it. Something something crazy happens, and you're in California, and if you don't get that crazy look in your eye, then you're gonna be stunned. You're gonna start saying things like, "Where's my frappuccino? I don't know what's going on." And that one guy in the bush, that guy's gonna be prepared. He's gonna say, "I was ready for this. I didn't even know I was ready, but I was ready before I woke up this morning. I was ready when I came out of my mama. I was ready for it, for anything." Speaking of which, I did just get off work. I do got this kind of crazy look in my eye, but the reason why I got this crazy look in my eye is I'm ready for anything. But also, I'm being funny. I'm in a good mood too. I think it has to do with dare I say, maybe I don't want to jump to conclusions. I don't want to let the cat out of the bag. But maybe, just maybe, I don't know. Maybe I think certain people, female people, are nice. Maybe I'm like, there's some certain female persons that I'm like, wow, kind of I kind of think I think those female persons are kind of, you know, not too bad to be around. Like, well, pretty impressed, dare I say. But also, I'm in a good mood just because I'm in a good mood. You ever just like, I don't know. It's a number of things. I do feel good. I do feel like a celebrity. It is. There's negatives to it, but there's definitely positives. And I get to hang around some really cool people. Female and male. You know, when I was younger, I was super dorky, right? And I remember trying to hang out with the cool kids, and I was it was terrible. I remember that terrible feeling when I was just getting rejected by cool kids. And I was like, what the hell? I'm a pretty cool dude. I wasn't. I was like, I'm pretty cool. Why? Why don't you want to be friends with me? And they're like, you're a complete idiot. You suck. You're terrible. You don't even know what's going on. Why do you got that crazy look in your eye? Go stand in that bush, you weird kid. I'm like, but I'm cool. They're like, no, you're weird. I don't like you. You're making me uncomfortable with your. I could say so many cruel things to myself right now. I'm not gonna do it. I also feel good because a lot of these videos are helping me with, letting things out that I've held on to for too long. I also got to wear my one of my favorite hats to work today. It's probably the only appropriate. It's not a cowboy hat, but it's kind of like it's kind of a cowboy hat. It's not a cowboy hat. That's why it's appropriate. It's actually a fancy southern felt material gray hat. I could just literally, I don't know why I'm describing. I could go get it. I don't feel like it. And I got to wear my sunglasses and just walk around. And people are like, well, look at him. Imagine 5 people with the same look I have right now. 5 people with the crazy, like kind of like ready for anything southern look in their eyes. Wow. I wasn't ready for this, but I was ready for this. And by the way, that joke about California frappuccinos, this is another. I'm letting another cat out of the bag. I don't think that expression is being used properly, but I'm going to use it. I was born. I was born in California. I know it's hard to believe. I was born in Sacramento. I should probably not like give private information about myself. In case somebody wants to like screw with me. But anyway, I already said it. Don't really matter. Born in Sacramento, which is a weird word. I don't know why it's a weird word, but it is. I was born in the suburbs. And a funny thing, it's like a sad funny thing. I was riding bicycles since I before I can remember. I would ride my bicycle out. They were called cul-de-sacs, which is another. It's another weird word. It sounds like a insult. Like, man, look at that guy. He's such a cul-de-sac. It sounds bad. It sounds like a really bad word. But no, it's like a circle of houses that leads into a street where you can drive a car through because that's what streets are for. But anyways, no, you'd have one cul-de-sac street and then another cul-de-sac. And now that I think about it, the fact that they're called cul-de-sacs and there's 2 of them right next to each other, it's funny. But anyways, what I would do, I would ride my bicycle and back then we didn't have electric bicycles because I was a Neanderthal. I didn't even know those things existed, and my family, just hated me for whatever reason. It's complicated, but I had a pretty tough childhood. But anyways, I'd ride my bicycle. I'd be riding down the street. Go around right in this where all the houses are, do a little circle, and then go as quickly as I could right through that street where all the cars would come through, and then I'd go into the other cul-de-sac. And every time I did that, 2 things happened. And I would do this often. And I was like not even like I don't know. I was very small, but I had a good bike, and I had good bikes. That's one thing I'm grateful for. But two things would happen. I'd go through that street, and I'd be fearful for my life because I know those damn cars. I learned a healthy respect for getting hit by, potentially getting hit by cars. The second thing I learned is that every time I would go into that other cul-de-sac, I'd be afraid as well because I'm like, something inside me is like, this is not safe. This is strange lands of leaving the safety of my little cul-de-sac, crossing the scary street. I'm in strange land. I don't know these people. And I'd ride my bicycle, and I was that weird kid. I'd be like, look at all these people. I'm going to pretend like I'm part of their tribe. These are just like suburban, and they look at me and they'd be like, oh, you're just a weird guy, weird kid on a bicycle. I would try to understand what they're doing. I'm like, look at them. They're just like us. They're on the other side of the street. They're just like us. Except they're weird, strange. And of course, my simple thinking, I'm like, I don't like them. I'm going to go back. I'm going to turn around and cross that dangerous street again and go back into my little cult. Well, it wasn't little, but to me, that's a endearing word. A little cul-de-sac that is safe for me. And the funny thing is, that cul-de-sac was so flippin' dangerous. Like there's like hold on. It's so stupid. I'm remembering this stuff, and I'm like too young to do anything about this stuff. It's really sad. But like, what I wanted to say, and the reason why it was dangerous, is that I was gonna say there's wild dogs. Wild dogs. There was, but here's the funny thing. Okay, the wild dog. I'm sorry, it's too funny. the reason why they were wild. I know, I'm just like a crazy person right now. Let me get through this. I can do this. The reason why there's wild dogs is because the wild dogs were the dogs from my family's house. My family is irresponsible and crazy, and just don't even know how, don't even understand. Like they, I say they like I'm not part of the family. I wasn't. I like to say that I was for one, I was the youngest, right? So I'm just kind of like watch. I'm like, I don't know what these people are doing. I don't know these people. These people are just weird. Anyways, really sad. I like these dogs. I'm not gonna talk about what kind of breed or anything because I feel bad doing that. Talking bad about certain breeds of dogs or whatever. But these dogs would get it for some reason I never understood. Like, it don't even make sense. Like, how do your dogs get out of off your property? Like, we're in the suburbs, right? It's like Frappuccino, California. Like, what's going on? You know, and clearly, I'm not responsible for any of that. But it's sad because I like those dogs because I didn't know any better. I'm like, oh, look at these dogs. They're kind of crazy. But when you're young, you don't really know a crazy dog from from just anything. I'm like, well, these animals seem kind of crazy, but I'm just here just watching you guys. I don't know what's going on, and then, I hear stories about them breaking out, and I'm like, well, somebody better do something about that. What's going on? You know, but kind of a sad story. Like you hear stories, but you can't verify if they're true or not. Well, I heard a story about one of my dogs. It wasn't my dog. Again, like I don't even want to say it was my family. I was just there, right? But these people who related to me, and these dogs that I just thought were cool, and I'm watching them, right? I heard a story from some of these people that some of those dogs died. And, I'm like, of course I get told the story, and some people that are related to me are saying different things. I'm just like, well, I have no idea what's going on. These dogs were here, now they're not. What's going on, you guys? We're clearly not doing something right because people don't got dogs dying from don't seem right. Well, I heard one of the dogs got out and went on to somebody's property, and then the person killed the dog. And to me, I was like, well, that don't sound right. Why would a person do that? Why would just what because of a dog walking on a person's property? I mean, that may happen. They sometimes get out, right? Well, this is a fucked up. Sorry, I'm cursing. I don't want to do that. But turns out, because look, I'm laughing at this because it hurts, right? And I was too young to know anything. Too young. But like as an adult, like come on. You don't let your like we're not dumb here. There's no excuses for this kind of crap. Why weren't those dogs trained properly? Like the poor dogs, seriously. They don't if they ain't trained properly, whose fault is that? So, anyways, I'm glad I got to tell that story because it's just one of those things. It ain't right. Anyways, born in California. And I think I was going to say something else related to being here in the South. I think I'm emotional now. Yeah. Rightfully so, right? It's one of those things. Oh, I thought of a saying on my way home today, and it's related to dogs. In my brain, just kind of just thinking, riding my bicycle, thinking about stuff, and I was like, I remember the expression, you ever hear the phrase, it's a dog eat dog world? Well, I was thinking about that. I was like, no, that's not right. It's not a dog eat dog world. It's a dog train dog world. Like we're a dog. There's one dog training another dog. And I thought about that. I was like, I like that. Gonna keep that. It's a good expression. Ain't a dog eat dog world. It's a dog train dog world. You're either a dog training somebody or you're the dog being trained. Now, obviously, that it's not really a good saying at all. Like, I think it's a terrible saying. But if I had to rephrase that saying, I think that saying would be better that way. You're either training people or you're being trained, and clearly sometimes it, it's just one of those. It's just a saying. It's whatever. But I'm pretty upset that my dogs died as a kid because my family was terrible. I am pretty freaking upset right now. I think I've held on to that for a long time. Didn't realize it would affect me that much. But completely forgot what I was going to talk about. Or, you know. I should think about something else, but can't think about anything right now. Since I'm on the subject of dogs, there was this other dog, and this story relates to me being Hispanic. All right. So my mom's side of the family is Hispanic, or is Hispanic. I just don't talk to my mom anymore. I don't talk to that part of the family. But there's some real nice people, and one person in particular was a trying to think of the relation to my mother, but she was an aunt to my mother, this older lady, and she didn't speak any English. She was one of the, but even me being a young person, I knew that this lady had a heart of gold. I never spoke to her. We didn't. I didn't speak Spanish. She didn't speak English. I was too young. But I love this lady. She was super nice to me. I didn't fit in at all. I was just a little lolly, just kid, not knowing what's what. I like video games. I like tamales. If you don't know what a tamale is, well, it's just like corn. It's like a corn burrito with meat inside of it. It was good. They're handmade, homemade tamales. I remember the smell. But here's the thing about the dog. They had a guard dog. Now you know I was a little kid, and you know I see this scary looking dog, and my first thought is like they don't seem right. You know I don't understand. I'm just here. My mom brought me here. I don't really know what's going on, but this is strange. You know, I'm used to being in the suburbs, riding my bicycle, and now I'm here, and there's a guard dog. Like, well, and what didn't feel right is that the is a scary big dog. I won't say what breed it was or anything like that, but it was on a chain. I remember that, and that I knew that wasn't right. For some reason, seeing a big animal on a chain wasn't right. I don't know why, but something inside me said that wasn't right as a kid. But I mean, the it wasn't safe. I mean, let's be honest here. If you're living in an area like that where you feel like it's necessary to have a big scary dog on a chain, probably ain't safe. It's dangerous. But back then, I learned a lot about different culture. You know, uh, being able to communicate with people. was interesting because I knew I couldn't speak their language. I knew that my mother was related to them. I know my mother was going through all kinds of crap. I didn't understand, but I knew that she was always going through crap, and she was going there to be taken care of. I knew that much. These people could. My mother could speak Spanish. They're speaking. I didn't understand them. Just there. But I learned. I see this. The older lady I talked about. The way she looked at me, the way she treated me. She treated me like I was an angel, a little angel. She treated me. She looked at me, and I was like, wow. I have no idea what this lady's saying, but she is super, super nice. She's nicer to me than my own mother, which is saying a lot. But I learned this one thing, valuable lesson I learned as a child, is that someone who can't even speak to me is that nice, says something, means something. It taught me something about people who are different. Sad. It's sad that I couldn't be in contact with them anymore when I stopped communicating with my mother. It wasn't right. And, it wasn't right for me to keep talking to them. Even though they wanted to reach out, they tried to reach out to me because they loved me. But I couldn't do it. Couldn't do it for several emotional reasons. Tried. And I was like, well, this ain't working. Making these decisions as a young adult, teenager, learning firsthand that some things don't work. Those are some hard lessons. Hard lessons. But that's life. But I remember that dog. I remember the name of that dog. Like a legend from the past. You know what that dog's name was? The dog's name was Bear, which is a badass name for a dog. But it was Spanish for bear, and the Spanish word for bear is oso, which is even more badass. I think that's more of a badass word than bear. So this dog on a chain that was protecting the family that I was too scared to even. I'm like, no, hell no. You know, that dog. And I just remember kind of looking at, I remember that dog was the protector when there was a guy there, like but he too scared. Like that guy, I don't remember. I remember as a kid, I was like, no way, that guy's scary. I remember meeting that guy maybe once or twice. I don't know what happened to him. Probably a sad story. But when that guy was away, which he was all the time, every time I was there, he wasn't there. That dog, Oso, was there. So I don't know. I've never talked about that story before. I'm going to end the video there. Gonna relax a little bit. Maybe I'll think of other stuff to talk about. I like talking about stuff. It's good for me. Screw being a vampire. I want to talk about interesting stuff. I go back talking about vampire stuff and whatever, but to me, it's not really that interesting. Like, let's be real here. What's it's just a thing, whatever. But and I'm not really, obviously I'm a vampire every day. So it's like whatever. But I think there's more interesting things to talk about. To be honest, but that's just my mood right now. Anyways, thanks y'all for watching, and appreciate y'all, and talk to you later. Bye.